Noel in Ottawa, Canada writes to me and he says, Paul, I have an Audio Alchemy DTI, which I used way back when I had a PS Audio 5.5. I'm wondering if it would still be useful in today's DACs. I'm currently using the class CP800, which has a reasonably good built-in DAC. Well, that's an interesting question. I haven't thought of the Alchemy DTI or the DTI Pro for years. DTI stands for Digital Transmission Interface. It's a nice acronym. And Audio Alchemy was just a great company years ago. It was Peter Madnick, Mark Shifter, and Doug Goldberg were the three principal people in that. And they had a great Go and Jesse company. I mean, they made some really cool products. So a DTI is basically a phase lock loop. And what is that? Years ago, when kind of the dawn of the digital age, CD players with their digital outputs, and some of this is still true today, but less so, but they had their internal clocks which spit out the digital audio signal, and those clocks were never very good, okay? Those clocks were, well, I mean, you know, CD players were not pricey kind of things. Even expensive ones at the time, they had a okay system clock, and that system clock moved up and down, and you know, because it's trying to keep up with how fast, you know, the laser is reading the data, and it's the system clock. So in a DAC, the clock is set primarily by the CD player. So if this thing is moving around and jittered and all of that, you'd be well served to have a digital audio interface, a DTI, that has a phase lock loop. A phase lock loop is basically a very stable output clock that senses incoming and changes its frequency to match. So it's kind of matching, but it's doing it at slower. So picture the CD player moving up and down in speed, and this one going much slower and kind of cleaning up the signal, lowering jitter, and getting rid of some of the variability that comes out of a CD player and going into a DAC. Now, many modern DACs, our DACs, for example, really don't benefit a whole lot because we already do that in the DAC, okay? And we use a very sophisticated PLL. And in some cases, we use what we call our digital lens, which is a FIFO buffer, instead of a phase lock loop, which, you know, is this moving target. Our products use generally a digital lens, which is this FIFO. FIFO is first in, first out. Here I'm talking over everybody's head, and I don't mean to do that. I apologize. And it's a big buffer, right? So the stuff comes in and it fills up and it goes, you know, like kind of like an accordion up and down, that variability we were talking about. But the buffer in here is big enough that it can make up, it can store a lot, or, you know, it does what it needs to do to take care of the variability, and then its output is an extremely stable zero, there's no such thing as zero jitter, but very low jitter output clock, and the variability is handled by the FIFO. But back in the day, before the digital lens came out, the DTI did a pretty admirable job. So all of that to say is, give it a try and see. It probably can't hurt anything, and it may well help. But much depends on your own DAC and how it deals with the problems of jitter and variability from the source, the CD player. Hope that helps. Thanks for the question. Talk to you tomorrow.